This podcast is brought to you by Elite Level Status Wines. My wine journey started with drinking cheap grocery store wines that were really acidic and gave me headaches. Then I switched to quote unquote luxury, but overpriced, full-bodied wines that were really heavy and had a bad aftertaste. The inability to find the perfect wine led to the creation of Elite Level Status Wines. Elite Level Status Wines are approachable, medium-bodied wines with great flavor and minimal aftertaste. And with me being a health-conscious person, I wanted to create a wine that was lower in sugar and lower in calories than the full-bodied mass-produced wines that we always see. We currently have two wines. First is our Cabernet. It has notes of blackberry, cinnamon, plum, nutmeg, and French vanilla. Then we also have our rosé wine. Our rosé is going to be a flat, dry, pink rosé with subtle strawberry and raspberry flavors. Both wines are medium-bodied wines with less sugar and less calories, and they're both available on my website, elsfinewine.com. Check them out, and I hope you love it. Elite Level Status Podcast, we're back again. Today's guest represents everything that's good about the modern woman. She's a teacher, a nurturer, good with kids. She's a businesswoman, a homeowner. The way she carries herself. She's in studio today. Her name is Marilyn. Marilyn, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super honored to be here.
So it's very important to me that I highlight someone like you because I love everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
So I have a lot of questions I want to ask you.
Of course.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So first, give us your background. Where and how did you grow up?
I was actually born and raised here in Las Vegas. My parents are Mexican-American.
Okay.
Fully Mexican, actually. But I was born and raised here. I went to elementary school here. I went to middle school here, high school, went to Spring Valley, and then I went to UNLV.
Okay.
And so now I'm a teacher.
Okay.
I was actually wanted to be a bio major. I wanted to always give back to the community. I wanted to give back to my community here. I was raised here. I went to CCSD.
Okay.
And I wanted to always be part of a community where I could give back. I'm also very into my faith as well.
Okay.
And so I go to church here and I love my church. I go to City Light Church, and that also has influenced me in the person who I am.
Right. I love that. So can you dive in a little more to what made you want to become a teacher? And then what grade do you teach as well?
Okay. So since I was a little girl, I was always very nurturing, very maternal, babysat. At 10 years old, my mom and dad would trust me. And, I did CPR classes at UMC, actually. And my mom and dad wanted me to be very careful and be aware of what I was doing. So I did CPR classes. I did babysitting classes where they would teach me how to treat the babies if anything ever happened. And as a young age, I was always just very maternal and nurturing. And as I got older, I thought I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
And I was just very interested in that because in my family, it's funny because I never thought about this. Half of my family is in the medical field and half of my family is in the teaching field.
Interesting.
And I never thought that. I was always very intrigued in my aunt. She was a doctor in Mexico.
Okay.
And she worked as a physician, and I always just admired her.
Right.
And I was just I want to be like my aunt. I want to be like my aunt. I want to be so studious. And then I got to college. And I was like, wait a minute, this is really hard. I kept taking my OChem class.
Yeah.
And it was just something that I was just wow, this is just so hard for me. And I love it, but I'm horrible at it. I'm
you're not the only one.
Okay, I was just okay. I was what? I'm a studier, and I put so much time into it, and I'm it's not clicking.
Right.
It's not clicking, and so I took a little time off, and I started serving, and I was working as a server during the day, a cocktail server at night, and then COVID happened.
Okay.
COVID happened, and I had no job. I started nannying again. And during that time, one of my best friends, she was a teacher, became a principal. And she goes, well, Marilyn, there's a job opportunity and you have enough credits to get a sub license.
Okay.
And I was just like, well, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little scared.
Right.
I love kids, but I don't know how to be around the kids so long.
Right.
And she's like, you're going to be amazing. You have already the nurturing bone in you. You already are so maternal. You have so much patience.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's do it. I don't want to be a server for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And, so I did, and I fell in love with it. It was one of the hardest things, though, because I did it during COVID.
Okay.
So I was teaching kindergarten through a computer.
Oh, wait, so that was your first teaching experience?
My first year teaching.
Okay.
And so then I was like, you know what? I really love this and I want to continue it. So I went to school at UNLV, graduated from UNLV.
Okay.
And now I did kindergarten for 4 years.
Okay.
And now I'm teaching second grade.
Now you teach second grade.
Yes.
So that's interesting. So when you were teaching during COVID through a computer, do you think that's made you a better teacher now? Is there anything you can take from that?
Oh, I learned so much patience. Okay. So much patience. I was just like, how am I going to get these kids to pay attention to me? Well, I have to do something creative. I have to do something for them to get their attention.
Yeah.
So I've always been really an outgoing person too, and just have, I'm a character and I have a great, I have a personality where the kids are just like drawn to me.
I can see that. Yeah.
And so I'm just, like to make things fun. And I like to tell the kids, hey, like we're going to work hard, but then we're going to party hard.
Yeah.
Or we're going to have fun. So I make to give them a balance.
Right.
Of like, hey, let's work really hard and then we're going to have a little bit of fun.
I love that.
So I always, during COVID, it was just a lot of different students too that I would see, and they were not used to being on the computer and they were also not used to being in school at all because that was their first year, as supposedly going for them to go to school.
Right.
And it was online. So it took away that experience for them. And it also took away a little bit of my experience because I had to teach online.
Right.
So then when we did go back to school, it gave me some practice too, just because I got to learn the curriculum. I got to know what I needed to teach. So when the kids did come to school, I was prepared.
Right.
I was prepared to show them what they needed to learn. I was prepared to nurture them and know what needed to be expected.
I love it.
So it did make me really resilient and made me the teacher who I am now.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. I love that. So second grade, kindergarten and second grade, those are both very foundational stages in a child's life.
Yes.
How do you see your role, not just as a teacher, but as a shaper of who they ultimately become?
I believe that it's so important. I see the kids and they are coming in, and my goal is to kind of mold them to what the world wants, to prepare them for the world.
Absolutely.
Prepare them and, show them the love that they need at that age and the structure. A lot of this is mostly about structure and just a routine. And I think if they see you having a routine and seeing you, that you're pretty much a model.
Yeah.
Everything I do, the kids are really a reflection of their teacher.
Yeah.
And so if they see that I am caring and loving and nurturing, they're also going to be caring and loving and nurturing. If I'm confident, they also feel that confidence.
Absolutely.
And also I want to provide that to them. I want them to come to my room and feel cared about.
Right.
I feel that, being a teacher, you have to care for them. And they need to feel cared for.
Absolutely.
And for me, academic is important, but also just being a person who they could come and you could have a relationship with their teacher. They could tell you anything. They feel comfortable enough to tell you anything. Yeah. And that I always see, if the kid loves you and cares about you, they're going to want to keep learning.
Absolutely.
And I love...
Wow.
And
okay,
love...
That's deep right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, expand more on that. So if the kids, even though they're young kids, if they can feel the vibes and the love from you, that essentially makes them do better in school? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I believe so.
Wow.
And I feel that I also love learning, right? And so if I show them how much I care about what they're learning, they're also going to want to learn it, you know? And if I make it fun, like this week we learned about volcanoes. I love science. Like I said, I was a bio major. Yeah. So I made it so interesting. I made it, made games with them. And I also take just so much time And I could know that I care about the job so much because I don't go home and I don't think of it as oh my God, I have to plan for them. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to like plan for some projects and all that. And the kids see that. They see that I come home, I come to the classroom and I have like all these fun things, and they just see that I am caring and I'm nurturing, and they want to keep learning and they want to impress me. And it's really just a job that I do enjoy.
Right. I can tell that you're super passionate about it. And I'm sure the kids can feel that. And it's interesting that, you're learning yourself, you're passionate yourself, and that filters through your kids. And then now the kids do better in school, and that helps carry them through life.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So how has being a teacher made you more like patient, creative, or like resilient in your own life? Like what are you pulling from teaching that's helping you in your personal life?
Sometimes I plan something at school, right? And you just like my lesson plan, and it doesn't go the way I want it to be.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm just like, well, what's plan B or C? So a lot of time in life, sometimes you want things to happen the way you want them to, right? You want the end to be the most amazing thing, and it's not always going to happen that way. You always have to have a plan B. So I think being a teacher has made me creative in my personal life too, just because I feel that, hey, like it didn't work out. What else do I have? What do I got to do now? Or what do I do now to do the same thing as I do as teaching, right? When I teach, I have to come up with a plan B. So the same thing with my life. I have to come up with a plan B and know that I have to be patient.
Right.
And teaching has taught that to me. Like, not everything's going to be perfect.
Absolutely.
You're going to have some off days. You're going to have days where you are going to be amazing, or my lesson plans are going to be amazing. And I'm like, oh, well, let me just fix that right there. Let me just dot the I and cross the T's on that one. But the same thing with my like personal life and in life, you're not always going to be, kind of have it perfect.
Yeah.
So it's taught me that a lot. Resilience and never giving up and getting better every day. That's one of my biggest goals is be better than I was yesterday.
Right.
Right.
Love that. And that's advice that everyone should hear.
Yes.
Because that's true. And whether in teaching, no matter what your goal is in life, those are traits that everyone should have.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. I love all that. You are also a businesswoman.
Yes.
Tell us about your business. Tell us what it's called. Tell us what you do, and tell us how you got into that.
Okay. So Fluerescent is, I put flower and essence was like together, and I made the word fluorescent. I also, during COVID, I feel like it was a year of me like becoming who I am. I guess like it just made me the person who I am now and gave me so many opportunities. And instead of sitting down and watching TV or, I was actually like, what do I do next in my life?
Right.
And it made me who I am now. But
I love that. You made it useful.
I really did.
Yeah, you use it as a positive.
I really did. And, at that time, you're just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What's going on with the world? But I did make it useful. And I guess I'm really proud about that. But Fluerescent, definitely. My mom was a florist. She worked for MGM Events, and I was a little, bored during that time. So I'm like, what do I do to give back to the community? How do I help? And I always want to give back, and I'm a giver, and I always want to just make people feel good. And so through flowers, I could speak. I could say, hey, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. Hey, I want to show you love. Or, hey, I'm grateful for you. So I use flowers as a language. I used it to tell people how, anything I couldn't say with my own words, I could do that through flowers.
Right.
So I started doing flowers to show people, my creative side as well. Not just through teaching. I'm also like, it grounded me because I could speak through the flowers. I could show people how I feel through the flowers. And so I really just had a passion for it. It really made me just feel it calmed me down as well. And it was something that was a hobby, and then it turned into a business. So I felt like through the flowers, I could, make people happy through a wedding. I'd done my friends' weddings, I'd done families' weddings, and I'd done their bouquets and all their like arcs and all of that. So I love just seeing like how a flower can change, or how flowers can change a room.
Right.
And they can change how you feel as well.
Right.
And there's so many reasons that I love doing, all these arrangements and all these events as well.
So is there anything that makes Fluorescent unique from other local flower brands in town?
I really think, for me, I think I put a lot of emotions into it.
Yeah.
I really try to tell a story through every flower arrangement.
Yeah.
I make it really personal. I want to know the person. I want to know what's going on, what they're celebrating, what's going on in their life and then I brainstorm, and every time I make an arrangement, I just take it so personal.
Right.
And I want to just like the same as I do with teaching.
Right.
I just want to give it my all.
Right.
And I just want people to be happy, or, if they're going through something, I also just want to make them feel better.
Right. I love that.
So
a quick plug for Marilyn's company. I am a customer of Fluorescent, and I sent my mom some of your flowers, and she loved them. I got so much brownie points for that. So if you ever need like a reference, call me.
Oh my God. Yes, definitely.
Okay? Yeah. My mom was talking about those flowers for like the next week. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, definitely works. So guys, if you're watching this, you need some flowers. I don't know, maybe there's, your mom or a special lady or someone, you need some flowers. This is your connection right here.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay. So, can you expand a little more on what your flower arrangements kind of like mean to you on a personal level, and what's your process for, okay, you see an order come in, are all your customers people that you know? And if so, what do you do when you get an order from someone that you don't know? What's your process for trying to make the order feel personal and special to that person?
Well, what I really just, I look at the flowers and I just feel like they speak to me.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but
Yeah.
I take I make sure that all the flowers are great quality.
Yeah, for sure.
I want them to, be, last for a long time. And I want them to, be something that someone will see in a room and just put a smile on their face,
right.
And I think I really just, when I don't know someone, I just want to make sure that they are as pretty as they could be.
Yeah.
And that they, that you look at them and you're just like, they're not the same as every other flower shop. These are, they don't have to be the same, like, formulas. A lot of people use formulas for their flowers. For me, it's just, sometimes I'll like do something a little different, maybe make it a little bigger, maybe add something else to it. Yeah. And people sometimes, we want what we want, or sometimes we don't even know what we want, right? So sometimes I'll like add a little bow to it, or add a different flower that maybe they didn't know about, right? I have a couple of my favorite flowers, and people don't know what these flowers are. So I like to introduce people with flowers that they've never seen before. And so they're like, wait a minute, I never seen this flower before. And I'm like, yeah, this is a garden rose, or this is a peony, or I have sometimes like these pineapple shaped flowers, and they're like, what in the world is this flower? And I was like, well, now I want to like kind of like teach them the ways of like all these different these different flowers that I have or that I get. And they're like, okay, this is fun. This is interesting. And I make like my creative side comes out in that area.
For sure. And you mentioned that your mom worked for MGM, right?
Yes.
So you guys have a unique insight to what like a 5-star top-notch level flower design should be.
Yes.
So you're able to take that and incorporate it into your business, correct?
I do. And it's so funny because my mom and I have a complete different style in flowers.
Okay.
She's very straight edge.
Okay.
She's very like, okay, it's this way and that way. And then I'm like, no, I want it this way and I want it that way. And I want to make it like softer and romantic. And again, I think it's just the child. I have a childish like in me that I just want to just like paint. Like it's like a blank canvas for me. And she's just like, just lets me do my thing. And she's just like, wow, that's beautiful. And I was like, thanks, Mom. And it's just hilarious because she's very like, no, we have to count the flowers and we have to make sure they're all cut the same. And I'm like, no, I want them a little longer, a little shorter here and just a little funky. And she's like, wow, it is funky, but it is gorgeous. And I'm just like, I just think that it's the creative side of me and the nurturing. And I just like care for the flowers. I have patience for them, and you can see it in the arrangements.
Yeah. And it sounds like you guys make a good team, because you guys kind of see things the opposite way. But when you work together, it kind of ends up being a balance of both worlds. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm like the wildflower, and she's more of a straight edge.
Yeah. I love that. So being a teacher and making flowers are both forms of creativity, but also caretaking.
Yes.
So how do the two roles that you have fuel each other?
Oh, they definitely feel each other. I think just patience with both of them. You never know what you're going to get. So I feel like I also, when I'm teaching and I am like, okay, I go home and I'm just want to like create something.
Yeah.
And it also calms me down.
Okay.
It kind of relaxes me, and just the smell of the flowers, just even seeing a flower, I really just love them. And I really do enjoy like the different kind of flowers, and it just relaxes me. It's like, a lot of people have their own hobbies where they knit.
Yeah.
For me, creating flower arrangements became something that would relax me.
Love that. So continuing on that point, so you're constantly giving back to your students. You're giving to your business.
Yes.
How else do you pour back into yourself? Now, I understand that, teaching and your business, that is a form of pouring back into yourself. But is there anything else that you do?
I think I surround myself with people who fill in my cup. And I also like to relax a lot. Another thing that I really do is I love working out.
Okay.
I do Pilates. I play tennis.
Okay.
I also got into pickleball shortly. But I think one of my biggest things is just making time for myself. I think that's not a privilege. I think that's very, very, I guess I would say, important. Right. I think you have to have time to relax and do things that will distract you from day-to-day life. And for me, it's Pilates, tennis, and I guess now pickleball.
Pickleball?
Yeah, I love it.
How did you get into that? Like
into pickleball?
Yeah.
Actually, I go to City Light Church, and we have small groups, and these small groups have like different activities that we do, right?
Okay.
And so one of our small groups was pickleball.
Okay.
And so I'm like, well, I play tennis.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how different can it be?
Right.
And it's actually a little easier than tennis.
Yeah, okay.
It is. Have you played before?
I've never played.
Never. We have to go play.
Okay, yeah, because so at my job, they've had like events where,
really?
Like pickleball, like team building events. I haven't been able to make it for, whatever reason, right?
Uh-huh.
But it is something that I see a lot.
Yeah.
And it seems cool. It seems like something that everyone can be involved in.
Yeah.
It's active. It's good networking. So I have been like, okay, that's something I should try.
Yeah.
And maybe this is my sign.
Yeah. So. It's so fun. And it's, like you said, anybody could do it.
Uh-huh.
And it's also I'm very competitive. So if we play together, I'm probably going to make you run around the court.
Okay. Hey,
but I feel I
always love a good challenge.
Yes. But I feel like if you want to take it easy, you could also take it easy. It reminds me of like ping pong, but like on the court. But I do. I think it's so much fun. And I think, like you said, it's really good for networking.
Right.
It's really good just to get out there and, distract yourself. Right. I think it is fun. But for me now, I done pickleball and I kind of miss tennis. Right. I'm like, let me get back to playing tennis. And it's something that is the cardio, the intensity of like hitting a ball is just like, it's something that I do also care and love about. Yeah. I love as well.
I like it. So you mentioned that you're competitive.
Yeah.
Where do you think your competitiveness comes from?
So my dad's side of the family, they're all baseball players.
Okay.
And growing up, they played baseball. My dad played professional in Mexico, and my brother did too. And he played here in Las Vegas too. And baseball was literally in our blood, or it's literally in my blood. And we were just so highly focused on that, and just being like, they've always been really competitive. And so having two older brothers definitely made me competitive.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so what's your vision for Fluorescent? Do you want to like still scale that to more cities? Do you want to keep it local? Like, what do you see in the future for your business?
I want to keep it local just because I want to be present. I want to be involved as much as I can. And I feel like if it's in a different city, it's going to be harder for me to do that. But I do want to make it into a bigger, like I want to get to a flower shop, make it into a studio.
Right.
I also want to not just make it about flowers, but I also want to get back to the community. Like I want to add like a bookstore to it. I want to add like home organic home goods into it too. I have like
I like it. Okay.
Okay, and something I tell my students as well is like if you have it in your mind, you could do it.
100%.
You know, all those dreams that are in your head, you know, they can become reality. And
100%.
so I feel like if it's in my head, it's gonna happen.
Okay, so this is all still gonna be under the Fluorescent like brand?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to make it like Fluerescent Co.
Yeah.
And just make it into like a flower shop, bookstore, and also some like organic stuff, and maybe even a coffee shop. You know, make it just
Fire.
like a little cool area for people who could be creative. They could go, read and get some books, and also give back to the community.
Yeah.
And I eventually want to do like events there too, where people could like, have their own book club there, and I could do classes for flowers and flower arrangements, and and that's something that it's in my goal. It's one of my goals.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, remember me when you're a multimillionaire.
No.
Remember me.
I
had you on my podcast.
I'll remember you.
Before you made it big, I had you on my podcast.
Okay.
All right. So just don't forget about.
Of course, I will never forget. And I've also been a really big fan of yours as well.
Hey, I appreciate that.
I have. I love the line. I love Elite Status. I
love it.
Really. I haven't tried the rosé though.
Oh, well, we can change that.
I haven't tried the rosé, but I did. I love the Sauvignon Blanc. Was it? No,
it was the Cabernet.
Cabernet.
Cabernet is what I sent you.
Cabernet.
Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate the plug. Thank you very much. Okay, so I like all that.
Yeah.
If someone wants to order from Fluorescent, how do they do that?
I have a website. It's fluorescent.com.
Okay,
and
I'll put that in the link.
Yes,
when we
and
post
it's
this.
live. And I also you could message me through Instagram as well, through my account. And, if you want to have a wedding.
And your Instagram is?
Fluorescent as well.
Okay.
So just Fluorescent. And we also do weddings. I love throwing a party too. So if you ever need flowers for your parties or anything like that, I'm your girl.
Okay. And do you have anywhere where I can leave a review?
No, not necessarily, but I should.
Let me know.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you a review because,
thank you.
Yeah, definitely the flowers. I'm not going to try and act like I'm like a flower expert, but I know how my mom reacted when I went over there.
Yeah.
And she loved them. So listen, you're doing great work.
Thank you.
Okay, so last question is, do you plan in the future, as you build out the Fluorescent conglomerate with the coffee shop and the organic products, do you still want to teach during that time, or do you eventually plan to just focus on one or the other?
I don't think I could give up teaching for a really long time. I really am passionate about it. I really enjoy it. And I'm really attached to my students, and I get really, I see them like I have 25 of them. Okay. And individually, I have a relationship with every single one of them. It's a different relationship. They're all different. Right. Right. So I don't think I could give that up. Right. I think I would have to do both. I would have to balance it out. I have a goal where I'm just like, I'm going to do a grade level for a couple of years and switch it up so I won't get bored. Yeah. So I did kindergarten for 4 years. Now I'm going to do second grade for 4 years. And then I want to keep it up, switching it because I get bored. Okay, yeah. And I like to add new things. I like to challenge myself. Right. So I think that I'm going to be teaching for a really long time, but I also want to do my flower shop and all of that because I just feel like it's part of who I am. Absolutely. And I need to continue teaching because it's just something that I really care about, and it just has my heart.
I love that. Do you see yourself always teaching like elementary school kids, or do you eventually want to go to like high school or?
I actually do think that I want to get to high school, but I think I want to do like junior, senior year, and I want to do like world history.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that most of my career, I do want to stay in elementary, but eventually maybe I'll do high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Love that. Listen, I love everything that you're doing. I think you represent everything that's good about the modern woman. That's why I was excited to have you on the show. Is there anything else that you want to say? Anything else you want to plug? Or?
No. Well, thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here. And, I just really feel that if you have a dream, you just have to chase after it. I really think so. Like, I think that the sky, I don't even think the sky's the limit, Like, I think that there's just so much. And I feel like those doors close, but they don't stay shut.
Exactly. And a lot of people aren't chasing their dreams. So I think it's important for people like myself and you to be that example, especially among our friend groups, to be the example. Hey, you go out there, you make an effort, you will be successful, right? And hopefully they can look at us and what we're doing. They can see it's not easy. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort, but you will eventually get there, right?
Yes, exactly. It's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of, late nights, but it's all worth it at the end. It's all worth it at the end. Like I said, I wanted to be a doctor and that didn't work out. So I had to, there was a plan B. There's always a plan B or C, D, E, all the way to Z.
Exactly. And I think you have to fall in love with the journey on the path to getting where you want. And that just helps you appreciate everything along the way and at the end. So,
yeah.
All right. Awesome. Hey, thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Elite Level Status Podcast. For sure. We'll see you guys next time.